order to get better quality audio and also have some redundancy, we like to record our audio files separate from our video. But when you do this, you do have to then sync your audio in post-production in the edit. So that can seem a little bit intimidating to some people if they don't know what they're doing, but it's actually quite simple. So let me just show you how to do that in this quick tutorial. So in this setup that I currently have, I have this camera, I have this camera, and then I also have this is recording my audio separate. So all three devices have a way of recording audio, but certain audio sounds better than others. So like this camera, for example, has a nicer mic on top of it, so it's going to sound better than this camera. But ultimately, this is going to be my very best source for audio because it's a lav mic that's right underneath my shirt. So it's the closest proximity. It's going to give me the best chance for audio. In an ideal scenario, you would have a producer that's listening to the audio as you go in case something happens, a mess up happens, then you can stop them and say, hey, you bumped your mic or something like that. But if you don't, let's say you're filming by yourself, then having redundancy is really, really important because if something happens to this recording, then I can switch to one of the mics and use that instead so that the day isn't lost. If you know that you're going to be syncing audio, one trick that makes it a lot easier is that you want to have some sort of way to tell within the video where you started each point of audio, right? So what we like to do is we like to do a clap. By having that clap, I can really easily look at the audio waveforms and say, that's where this one needs to start, that's where this one needs to start, and that's where this audio needs to start. So let me show you what that actually looks like in Premiere Pro. Okay, so right here, I've got all the files for my video. This is A cam, this is B cam, and then this is my separate audio file. So I'm going to double click on the footage, which will bring it up into this screen. And then I'm gonna go over to where I can just see audio only. Now you can see this big giant line right here. It's most likely gonna be my clap. So let's give it a listen. This is video 101. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is then go to that frame. And I'm going to add an in point, which is going to make it so that I can then go back to the video and drag it down. Now, I know this is going to be the end of that one. Now when I go to this one and I find it, again, I know that it's this big giant line. Makes it really, really easy to find and sync your audio. To an endpoint. When you see big Hollywood movies that use that slate, that's what they're doing. They're slating it. A, it's giving you all the information, but B, that noise that it makes, it helps the editors sync the audio in the edit. So now I can bring this one down, and then I'm gonna do the same for the audio file. And then I'll bring that one down. Now, if I give it a listen, they should all be synced up. My first tip in creating content would be to start small. Perfect. Now, if you don't have a clap, it can be a little trickier, but it doesn't mean that you can't sync your audio that way. So let's try that. Let's delete that. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our first clip and we're gonna find where I actually start talking. So I'm gonna do my endpoint. And then I'm gonna do the same for this one. And bring that one down. Now it's gonna be a little trickier on the audio, potentially, because I don't have the visual that lines up, right? So I can kind of see there's a little bit of talking, but that might not be where I'm actually talking for the video. It might be a little bigger.
I mean, content for video content. Time to get some higher G. Content for business. Wow.
Okay.
We've never.
Oh, I remember that part. So I'd probably start here.
Video is.
I'm gonna do the same thing.
way for ourselves to be able
So you
to
can tell it's like not quite as perfect, right? There's a little bit more of an echo, which means I'm probably off by a frame one way or the other. So it's a little bit harder to do. Also keep in mind that this is a very clean like way that I already filmed this. So like, let's say that we have a 3-shot. So we have 2 people and we've got our main camera that is showing both of them. And then we've got a camera over here that's showing this person only. And we've got a camera over here that's showing this person only. And we're syncing it up. Person A is the one that's talking, so I can sync this camera really easily. I can sync this camera over here really easily. But this camera is on person B. So they're not the ones talking yet. And I can't see person A. So I don't have a point of reference of what they're doing. It can be a little bit more difficult when you don't have a visual on them. You can still kind of go based on the audio, but it might be like you might have hours of footage, right? And it's just like I started this camera and this camera at pretty much the exact same time. Like maybe you started this camera and it was rolling for a little while, and then you started this camera, and now you have to figure out at what point did you start this camera? And they're facing on different things, right? This one's filming this subject over here, and this one's filming some B-roll in the kitchen. It's gonna be really, really hard to figure out where the point is. You absolutely can do it. I've done it. It's miserable, but it's possible. So if you can have some sort of audio cue, a clap, something, point both cameras at the same person and wave, hey, this is where we're starting, something just to indicate, and make it easier for you to sync up. Let's say that you went out and you have like 4 different cameras going. You've got some people working on B-roll. You've got some people working on A-roll. You've got an interview over here. This person's running audio, but this person isn't really doing audio. And you just have like a full day of footage that you're like, this is insane. Like, I don't even know what to do with this. I do have a solution that's really, really great, and it's called PluralEyes. PluralEyes will auto sync for you. Now, it doesn't do a perfect job. Sometimes if I have, 10 hours worth of footage, I still might have issues with the footage. Like I might still have to go in and find some things, but it will save you a lot of trouble. We're gonna go here. Here, we're just dragging the footage. We're not syncing it first. You can tell how it's off, right? You can see that these points obviously don't line up. All I would have to do now is I go to PluralEyes and I hit synchronize. And it does it all for me. I think one of the really fun things about creating content, creating videos, editing, shooting, all of it, is that there's always a ton of different ways to do things. I feel like I'm always learning. I've been doing this for a really long time professionally. Before that, I did it for fun. I was always the kid with the camera, just filming my entire life, filming funny videos. So although this is the way I like to do things, there's always a ton of different ways that it can be done. If you have a favorite way that you like to sync audio, I like the clap method, maybe there's something, let me know in the comments what your preferred method is. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. We are your video allies. You've got this, we've got your back, and we cannot wait to see what kind of content you create.